Hey there, Goblin Horde. I am the Goblin King, and I come bearing sad news this evening. Apparently, Bruce Willis is retiring from acting after a rather long battle with mental problems. I guess this news dropped yesterday, but I only recently found out and figured that I'd cover it for this Thursday's article. Now, I admit that I saw something about this floating around a bit on Twitter last night while I was scrolling through my feed. I didn't think much of it at the time because none of the posts talking about it had said anything about retirement or anything. From context, I knew that something had happened with Bruce Willis, but I didn't know what exactly it was. Anyway, I came over to Bounding and saw the article on it, watched Flash's video on the subject, and it seemed like a good topic to cover. This is for two reasons. A, he's been a mainstay in many Hollywood movies since I was a kid. Die Hard is the greatest Christmas movie of all time. Fight me. And B, there wasn't anything else newsworthy that I wanted to cover today. I saw a bunch of stuff about the Henry Cavill Superman replacement. I saw a bunch of stuff about Chris Rock finally saying at least something about the slappening. I even saw something that looked rather promising about a bunch of people supposedly quitting Disney from Jeremy over on the quartering. That turned out to be something along the lines of clickbait. Come on, Jeremy, you're better than that. All in all, it's been a rather slow news week. However, this is a good story. It's rather sad, but it's good. Ultimately bittersweet, I think. That being said, let's get into this thing, shall we? So, I think we all know by now the amount of flack that Bruce Willis has been getting in recent years for his movie performances, or lack thereof. Over the last few years, he's been putting out a bunch of basically direct-to-video movies that he barely features in at all, and when he does manage to get some screen time, it seems like he's phoning in his performances. At least that's what I've heard, and recently read. I haven't actually watched any new Bruce Willis releases in I don't know how long. I guess I was just rather disappointed with the movies that I did see in the early aughts, and nothing he's put out in the last 10 years or so looked really interesting to me. I could be wrong, but I can't think of one off the top of my head right now. Well, this whole thing, it turns out, was actually for a reason, it seems. According to a post put up by his family on Instagram sometime yesterday, Willis has been battling an illness for quite a while now and was recently diagnosed with aphasia. So I think what I'll do is I'll read the post by his family and then I'll go over what aphasia is according to this source on Bounding. From Demi Moore's Instagram account, to Bruce's amazing supporters, as a family we wanted to share that our beloved Bruce has been experiencing some health issues and has recently been diagnosed with aphasia, which is impacting his cognitive abilities. As a result of this, and with much consideration, Bruce is stepping away from the career that has meant so much to him. This is a really challenging time for our family, and we are so appreciative of your continued love, compassion, and support. We are moving through this as a strong family unit, and wanted to bring his fans in because we know how much he means to you, as you do to him. As Bruce always says, live it up, and together we plan to do just that. Love, Emma, Demi, Rumor, Scout, Tallulah, Mabel, and Evelyn. So Emma, I guess, is his current wife. Demi is, of course, his ex-wife. The other 5 names are his 5 daughters. Like I said before, a bit bittersweet, right? I mean, it sucks that he's having to go through all this shit. That's fucking terrible for him and his family. However, it's really cool that he's got his whole family around him like that. All that dude's kids are girls, too. Do you believe that? I mean, 5 kids, and every one of them are girls. Sorry, I heard that and it just struck me as interesting. You'd think out of 5 of them, at least one would be a boy is all. Alright, so according to the National Institute on Deafness and Other Communication Disorders, aphasia is this. Quote, a disorder that results from damage to portions of the brain that are responsible for language. For most people, these areas are on the left side of the brain. Aphasia usually occurs suddenly, often following a stroke or head injury, but it may also develop slowly, as the result of a brain tumor or a progressive neurological disease. The disorder impairs the expression and understanding of language as well as reading and writing. Aphasia may co-occur with speech disorders, such as dysarthria or apraxia of speech, which also result from brain damage. Now, obviously, I don't know Bruce Willis or anyone in his family personally. I mean, there was a family in one of the towns I misspent my youth in that were supposedly related to Demi Moore. So, according to them, they got to spend some holidays with him and Demi when they were married and all, but I never met the man. Therefore, I couldn't say when or even if he'd ever suffered any head trauma that might result in this sort of illness further down the line. I mean, he's done the action star thing for most of his career, so there may very well have been accidents on set that could have resulted in that kind of brain trauma. I don't know. Maybe he has a tumor, or this is the side effect of some sort of other neurological disorder, like the article says. Something like dementia. Again, don't know. All in all, though, this does really go far to explain some of his more lackluster performances in recent years. I guess that was part of the speculation and rumor mill that was going on about him. That, or he was broke. Also, I guess part of the reason that he was doing all these shitty VOD movies in the first place is because he knew something was up and he was trying to get as much money under his belt as he could for his eventual retirement. You know, so he could continue to take care of his family after the fact. I mean, that's a stand-up fucking guy right there. Anyway, the dude's a fucking legend and he will be sorely missed. That's all I think that I can say about this one, folks. Let me know what you thought in that handy comment section down below. While you're down there, let's all take a moment of silence for Bruce Willis and his family. That's pretty tough. Also, if you'd like to join the Viridian Horde, you can do so by crushing those like and subscribe buttons. Like a goblin. I'll see you all later for my highly anticipated anime review. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you then. Lates.